Good morning, everyone, and welcome to EntreGrowth. I'm so excited that you're here with us today, and we're going to talk about success and failure and how we really need to keep failure as close to success as we possibly can. And I want to start with a couple of stories of some people. So you might have seen the inspirational video before on Facebook or YouTube or something like that, but it shares stories really quickly of massively famous success stories, but it shares the failures first. And one of those people was Walt Disney. Walt Disney was told that he lacked creativity. Ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about the man who created the happiest place on earth, Disneyland first, and then the Magic Kingdom here in Florida, and now what we know is one of the greatest entertainment companies in the world. The next was Bill Gates. He actually watched his first company crumble. He was not a success story overnight. Yes, did he do it in his garage? Of course he did, but his first company didn't work out. Then there was this guy in the same industry named Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs from Apple was actually fired from his own company because the corporation and the shareholders did not believe at that point in time that he had what it took to make Apple successful. Years later, they came back to him and begged him to come back because they needed his creativity, they needed his direction, and they knew the company would not be what it ultimately could be without him. Milton Hershey, the founder of Hershey's Chocolate, started 3 candy companies before finally being successful with Hershey's Chocolate. And then there was Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey worked on a failed news show and was demoted from her primetime anchor role. Ladies and gentlemen, Oprah Winfrey, like the goddess of TV, who is worth well over $1 billion for all of the things that she's created, including her own now network. She was told that she wasn't good enough to be a co-anchor, let alone the anchor. And then there was this guy named Abraham Lincoln. And I want to share his story with you for just a second, because a lot of people don't realize what Abraham Lincoln actually went through in order to become president of the United States. Abraham Lincoln failed in business at age 21. He was defeated in a legislative race at age 22. He failed again in business at age 24. He overcame the death of his sweetheart at age 26. He had a nervous breakdown at age 27. He lost a congressional race at age 34, lost a congressional race at age 36, lost a senatorial race at age 45, failed in an effort to become the vice president at age 47, lost a senatorial race once again at age 47, and then was elected president of the United States at age 52. Now, I share with you that story because if he had let failure dictate the future, many people believe we wouldn't have had what is the greatest president we've ever seen in our history, who led us through the Civil War, who abolished slavery. And there's a book written about him called Team of Rivals. And here's why it's called Team of Rivals, because Abraham Lincoln knew that in order to bring the country back as close as he possibly could, he wasn't going to be able to do it just based upon what he believed. He was going to have to bring people from other parties into the conversation. He put them on his cabinet. And if you ever, I would encourage you to go and watch the movie Lincoln, because it's written based off of this book called Team of Rivals. It shows the conversation that happened inside of his cabinet regarding the abolition of slavery. And it's absolutely incredible to see that there were people in there who didn't agree with him, But ultimately, because of his leadership and because of the fact that he allowed them to come in the conversation, they respected him and they went forward with what they all came to an agreement on in that room, which was slavery wasn't right. It ended up becoming the 13th Amendment and slavery went away because he brought people who didn't necessarily believe exactly like he believed into the room with him so that they could have a real conversation and make real progress. That would be awesome if we could do that today. And I hope that we as a country get to the place where we bring everyone from all sides to the table again. And that is something that we get to choose to do by voting. And I share that with you because he had a lot of failures. He was not an overnight success. As a matter of fact, most of the people who we look at and think that they're overnight successes struggled a lot along the way. There's this other person named Michael Jordan. You might have heard of him before. It's kind of a big deal. And Michael Jordan didn't even make the high school basketball team. That for him was absolutely devastating, but he took that devastation and he took it and leveraged it into motivation. He took the devastation and turned it into motivation. Remember that right there. Devastation to motivation. And by doing that, that person that beat him out on the high school basketball team ended up becoming his motivation for becoming better and better and better. And it's said that Michael Jordan would wake up at like 4:30 or 5 o'clock in the morning before school, go out into his driveway and shoot basketballs over and over and over and over again until he couldn't miss. That is dedication. Michael Jordan is known as the winningest player of all time in the NBA, and he took the Chicago Bulls and that team together. Remember, it was a team. It was not just Michael Jordan. He could not have done it on his own. He had great people together with him that ultimately created an amazing dynasty and an incredible championship. And he didn't do it on his own. Well, years later, after he had retired, he was inducted into the NBA Hall of Fame. And he was given a ton of tickets to be able to invite people to the ceremony where he was inducted into the NBA Hall of Fame. And he saved one ticket. That one ticket that he saved was for that person who beat him out on the high school basketball team. And if you go and you watch this speech on YouTube where he's being inducted into the NBA Hall of Fame, he gives credit to the guy who beat him out on the high school basketball team. And he says, if you weren't better than me, I wouldn't be where I am today. If it weren't for you beating me out on the high school basketball team, I would not be being inducted into the NBA Hall of Fame. And then he went on and made a little bit of a joke at it. And he said, and look at where I am today and look at where you are. You're sitting in the audience. I'm standing on the stage. Yet it was his ability to take that failure and turn it into motivation that made a difference in his career. Now, I want you to do a favor with me. I want you to take your hands and spread them as far as you can apart. Do it with me. If you're on camera, spread your hands as far as you can apart. Now, you see, unfortunately, this is what society has been told and led to believe you need to do. You need to separate success and failure as far away from each other as you possibly can. That's not the truth. Here's what the truth about success and failure is. Now I want you to put your hands as close together as you can possibly get them without ever touching. That's success and failure. They're right next to each other. They always are. Success and failure are not separated. You have to fail in order to succeed. If you only succeed, you haven't succeeded at a very high level. There's always something greater out there that you can accomplish by failing and learning from your failures. So I want you to remember that. Next time you have something that you think is a failure to you, remember how close that actually puts you to success. And then ask yourself these questions. What could I do differently in the future that will allow me to achieve a different result? See, that's all failure is. Failure is just a lesson. Failure is an opportunity to do something different that gives you the result that you're looking for. Now, I want to open it up to any of you guys. Michael Trelongo, I see that you're driving your sports car this morning and you'd like to share something with us. So take it away, Mike.
Yeah, when we first, I guess, got together in one of the ELTs and you brought up Lincoln, I was like really excited about that because I'm a big Lincoln fan. And that guy had every single reason, like everything. He had every reason to accept failure. He had every reason to just go, you know what? Maybe this isn't my path. Every reason to quit. And with all of those, he had one belief, is that he could actually make a man from quitting. I also
you cut out for just a second. Could you repeat that last little part there?
Yeah, no. So he felt the reason why he didn't quit in my mind's eye is that he knew he was destined to make a difference in the world. He knew it. He believed it wholeheartedly. And all I can have is accounts of who he was as a person. And the guy was cut from a different cloth. Mm-hmm. And he would die for his beliefs. Absolutely. And he wanted it the way he wanted it. He saw it, and then he had a vision, and he brought people together to realize that vision. So if I'm thinking about this man and who he was, and how dedicated and committed to what he was doing was, I think if somebody was able to see the future and go and tell him, this is what you're going to go through, this is what you'll accomplish, and then you're going to be shot in the head and you're going to be killed. However, you have done these accomplishments. I think he would have said, yeah, sign me up, because he knew what his path was. He knew what his place in history was. Yeah. Thanks for sharing.
Michael, he was actually also known for being out among the soldiers every single day, as often as he possibly could. He had an open door to the White House. And he was actually known for not really being in the White House a whole lot, because he would rather be out with the people who were being impacted by what was going on in the world, so that he could learn more and take that back to the government and share with them, here's what's really going on. Yeah. All right. Anyone else? Yeah, Anna.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's my first time joining. I'm so glad that you're having this call. Thank you so very much.
Well, I'm glad you're here.
Yes. I, right now, currently, I feel like I'm in the same thing. Like, there's really high highs, and then there's other low days, and you're like, oh my God, I need new clients. When you have really, really big goals, I think it even gets even harder at that period of time. So this type of information, I think I know that we are not supposed to talk about the government or whatever it may be, but I think Biden had the same type of story too. He was like, shut down, shut down, shut down, shut down. And, I think the bigger winners in this life are the ones that do not give up. And that's how you're able to, or you go find another job. And I definitely don't want to do that. I am so grateful that I love what I do, so ups and downs, up and down, and just keep on going until you get to the top, right?
I completely agree with you. So many of the people that we see as massive successes have had many failures. Biden ran for president. I think this was his 5th time that he actually started the process. And he didn't take the first 4 as a reason. He took the first 4 as an opportunity to do something different in the future. All right, anyone else? Well, it's a little bit shorter call today, but I just wanted you to know that success and failure are not separated. They're as close to each other as you can possibly get. There's that whole analogy of the iceberg that we only see 10% on the top. And oftentimes we look at other people who have been successful, who are successful, and we only see their successes and we don't see the struggles that are going on down below. And that is where the magic really happens. Phil Monday, take it away.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that point. And the hand analogy was super awesome. I mean, you know, that statement that you just said with success and failure being so close really hits home to me as like a former baseball player, you know. It takes 3 hits out of 10 to make the Hall of Fame, but it takes 2 hits out of 10 to be finding another job. So that's, you know, that's.
Say that again, Phil. Say that again. That was good. Write that down.
Because I talk to you every week, I get these things that come up in my head, you know. I said it takes, you know, in baseball, it takes 3 hits out of 10, so a 300 batting average to make the Hall of Fame, but it takes 2 hits out of 10 to be looking for another job.
Yeah, that's big. And by the way, Phil has a 4-week-old now?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Today, 4 weeks today.
4-week-old baby named Bo that came 4 or 5 weeks early.
5 weeks early. Yeah, his due date's on the 21st of November. So
yeah, that's awesome, Phil. Thanks for being here.
Absolutely. Thanks for having it.
Dory.
Yeah, good morning. This just made me think we had our team meeting on Monday, and we had the conversation about what Gary always says. You never know where you're going to be in 5 years, right? We underestimate what we can do in 5 and overestimate what we can do in 1. So I had everybody do an exercise to go back 5 years. And what people felt like was failure led them to understand that everything that happened from 5 years ago to now was success.
Yeah.
And light bulbs went off, and we're going like, wow, I accomplished this, I accomplished that. And it was pretty amazing exercise. So it kind of revolves around what you're talking about now.
Yeah, and you're so right. I mean, the reason why Gary Keller does say that you can accomplish anything that you want to in 5 years, because he went from being in quite a substantial amount of debt to being a millionaire within a 5-year period of time, which is why he says, not only do I believe that, I have done it myself, and I've accomplished way more than I thought I could in a 5-year period of time. And if you go and look at so many people out there in the world, they've accomplished a whole lot in a 5-year period of time. So Dory, thank you for sharing that. Anyone else? All right. Well, as always, I will end the call by reminding you this: everything that you want in life is right outside of your comfort zone. If you choose to stay comfortable, you will not achieve the things that you could achieve. If you're willing to get a little bit uncomfortable, it's amazing how many other things in life will open up to you. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for being here. And I will see you Monday, because we do not have a call tomorrow. We're in a stats meeting down here in South Florida. If you'd like to watch it online live on YouTube, you can watch it at youtube.com/Scott Tolar. Have a great day, everyone.